We give esteem and praise and honor to the Most High Yahuwah by Hashem Yahushua this day. John 5:39. John 5:39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. That man say he know you ain't got it in you. Hello? Hello?
Shalom.
Shalom. Exodus 13:1. Let's roll, y'all. Exodus 13:1. Show you something out the law this evening. Something out the law this evening. Exodus 13:1. Exodus 13:1. Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever open the womb among the children of Yasharal, both of man and of beast, it is mine. This man say everything that comes out of the womb, that is the firstborn, belongs to Yahuwah. Let me look at something for that word for firstborn. Everything that come out the womb for the firstborn, it belongs to Yahuwah. He say set apart the firstborn. Set that to the side. That's Kadash now. That's mine. I just want you to hear some of this. I know some of y'all may not know, but for those who do know, just chill. It means to consecrate, to sanctify, or prepare, to dedicate, to be hallowed, to be separate, to show oneself sacred, to be honored, to be treated as sacred. Keep that in mind. Sacred, this means this is something that is special. Something that is special. When he says set this the firstborn, they are special to me. When we look at firstborn, it's firstborn or firstling, it's Bekor. And it's basically men or women, animals, it's a noun or relation. But basically, chief, eldest son, firstborn. That means this is high. This is a ruler. Now, why would it be important? Well, let's look at something. Luke chapter 1 and verse 31. Luke chapter 1 verse 31. He say all the firstborn belong to him. Y'all bear with me this evening. I got a lot of stuff going through my brain that I was thinking on before I was rudely interrupted from the phone by a phone call. Make it 1 and 30 by absolutely nothing. And it says, and the Malachim said unto her, Fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favor with Elohim. Behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb and bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua. He shall be great, and he shall be called the Son of the Highest. And Yahuwah Elohim shall give unto him the throne of his father David. He shall reign over the house of Jacob forever, and of his kingdom there shall be no end. You notice how he said he'll be great. I want you to look at Matthew 1 and 21 just for a reference point. Bear with me, because I'm going to move kind of quick. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to jam a lot of information in a short period of time. It's funny to me that this dude say you got to try to get you some understanding before you try to teach, when a nigga just outright lied on the book and say Jose marry a whore, and it's against the word to marry a whore, when the book say a high priest can't marry a whore, not a prophet. It's funny how niggas say y'all tempted David to count the people when the book say Satan did it. It's funny how he say he tell a man to eat dung when the book said about the man didn't even eat man's dung. Ezekiel protested against that. The same way when the master showed Peter that plate and say, rise, kill and eat. He say, not so. I ain't never ate nothing common or unclean. He said, I know you said one thing for certain, two things for sure. I know you're not telling me to do that. Oh, y'all said thou shalt not lie, but he put a lying spirit in the prophet's mouth. Boy, dudes will blaspheme with no problem just to keep a doctrine. That's sad. That's so sad. That's so sad. To keep a doctrine, bro? Really? And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua, for he shall save his people from their sins. Keep that in mind, how Yahushua will save his people from their sins. Just keep that in mind. Now all this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of Yahuwah by the prophet, saying, Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is Elohim with us. Then Yosef, being raised from sleep, did as the Malachim of Yahuwah had bidden him, and took unto him his wife. And he knew her not, till she had brought forth her firstborn son. And he called his name Yahusha, till she brought forth her firstborn son. Ain't that something? And it say to sanctify all the firstborn that come up out the womb, because they are mine. They belong to me. Now he just sat back and stated how this man would be set apart, because he should be called great, and shall be called the son of the highest, and that he should sit on, and Yahuwah Elohim would give him the throne of Daud, and that he should sit and reign over the house of Yaakov forever. Let's go to Exodus 4:19. Exodus 4:19. Remember now, we read that he shall save his people from their sins. He's the chief. Matter of fact, before we read Exodus 4:19, I bring a Hebrew 3:1. We hold in Shemut 3:1, Exodus 4:19, but go to I bring 3:1. Chief. Also sitting back, look at that right this here, right? Dudes be saying a lot of stuff. Hold on, y'all. I got you, bro. Dudes be saying a lot of stuff, man. I'm telling you, people. Look here, I want you, and when I'm about to listen to what I'm about to say, right? I am by no means the repository of all knowledge. By no means. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want y'all to think that that's what I'm trying to express or even insinuate. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always somebody on the earth that know more than you. You know what I'm saying? But what really grinds my gears is this. Men say things and then they don't have no book for what they be saying. Or they say things that the book says this and the book say that. And the book don't say that. You know what I'm saying? The book don't say that. So, I have a problem with that. You understand what I'm saying? I have a problem with that. I have a real live problem with that. You know what I'm saying? Don't turn around and say this stuff, man, and you ain't got no book for what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? Or don't sit back and lie on the book. Or don't sit back and say something, try to hold on to a doctrine because that's what you want to keep. Keep because you want to hold to that. That's evil. You know what I'm saying? That's real evil. We're going to read I bring 3:1 and then 1 Peter 5:2. That's real evil before we look at Exodus 4:19. And I noticed that a lot of brothers do that. A lot of brothers do that. Just listen to what the man say about the master. Wherefore, Kadesh brethren. Listen, the reason why I'm reading this here, because he say set apart brethren. Set apart brethren. That man say everything that opened up the womb of the firstborn is his. Keep that in mind now. Partakers of the calling of Shamahim, consider the apostle and high priest of our profession, Mashiach Yahusha, who was faithful to him that appointed him, as also Moses was faithful in all his house. Now, in order to sit back while we're looking at this here, is the master was sanctified from the womb, firstborn son. So that means he's chief, he's great. He was set apart. That's why he say, you sanctify them with the truth. Thy word is truth. And I sanctify myself by the truth, that they may be sanctified by the truth. Because he was already set apart, being the firstborn of our, belonging to him. Also knowing that being set apart is to be honored. So after, let's get this 1 Peter 5:2. And after we read this 1 Peter 5:2, let's get this John 12:22. My mind just, the stuff just riding in here right now. Let's look at this 1 Peter 5:2. I'll read 5:1. So I'm going to tell you something, right? Everybody want to be a teacher of the word. And ain't nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But at least know what you're talking about, man. Like I told you, I'm talking to a dude. Dude say he follow a lunar Shabbat. I say, bruh, sir, my nigga, show me in the book where he say count 7 days for the new moon to get your Shabbat. See, you got to read the book in context. What? I got hundreds of scriptures to show, but yet I've asked you for the last 30 minutes to show it, and you ain't showed me nothing. You got dudes out here thinking they going to hell if they get a tape up. That they going to hell if they shave their beard. That these dudes talking about, I ain't going to listen to nobody who ain't got no beard teach the word. Well, that'll be a snare and a trap for you to go to hell, Mr. Simpleton. A beard does not denote righteousness, nor whom Yahuwah is with or not with. There are many wicked men out here teaching the word with much hair in their face. You know what I'm saying? That means nothing. You got men who can't even grow a beard. Like, come on, bruh. Some stuff you got to sit back and look at that. You sound retarded. The elders which are among you, I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of Mashiach, and also a partaker of the esteem that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of Elohim which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. Neither as being masters over Elohim's heritage, but being ensamples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of esteem that fade not away. So when that chief shepherd, or that firstborn shepherd, the first shepherd, he chief shepherd, he first. I mean, he was shepherding before anything got started. He first. Now let's look at John 12 and 22. Because if you've been sanctified or consecrated, that means you've been honored. 12 and 22. And then right after that, we'll look at Exodus 4 and 19 and begin to get this ball rolling. Rolling. John 12 and 22. Philip cometh and tell Andrew, and again Andrew and Philip tell Yahusha. Yahusha answered them, saying, the hour is come that the Son of Man should be esteemed or honored. Truly, truly, I say unto you, except the corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abide alone, but if it die, it bring forth much fruit. Keep that in mind. He that loveth his life shall lose it. He that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal. If any man serve me, let him follow me, and where I am, there shall also my servant be. If any man serve me, him will my Abba esteem. Interesting. If any man serves the Son, the Father will honor him or make him or sanctify him. He will sanctify him. This is what he will do. Now let's look at Exodus 4 and 19. I want y'all to keep in mind where he says that everything that openeth the womb, everything that come out the womb will be sanctified. And it will belong to Yahuwah. And this will make a statement that most of y'all have probably read numerous times, even more powerful and even more profound and even more settling in your brain for you to continue on the way of Kadesh and save your soul. See, a lot of people don't continue on the way of Kadesh because they're not sons, they're bastards. 4:19. Exodus of Shemut, 4:19. Yahuwah said unto Moses in Midian, go, return into Mizraim, for all the men are dead which sought thy life. And Moses took his wife and his sons and set them upon an ass, and he returned to the land of Mizraim. And Moses took the rod of Elohim in his hand. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, when thou go to return into Mizraim, see that thou do all these wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thy hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. When you turn around and you sit back and look at it, when the master came back into Mizraim, or came back amongst his people who was in sin or in bondage, he worked many signs and wonders amongst his people, and Yahuwah hardened the people's heart that they wouldn't let him go. Because Peter had already told you, my apologies, in Acts chapter 3, y'all desired a murderer over the just one, when Pilate was determined to let him go. Because Yahuwah had hardened their hearts to not let him go. This should take you back to when we went over that Yahushua went into Egypt again with ships. He went back into Egypt and he hardened their heart because they would not let him go. Just like the master now. Now sit back and look at it, right? Thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith Yahuwah, Yasharal is my son, even my firstborn son. And I say unto thee, let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. Ain't that interesting right there? Let's look, see if we get the same word for firstborn here. Is anything coming to anybody's mind when they hear this? It's a very interesting thing that he stated. He said he told Pharaoh that Yasharal is my son, he's my firstborn. Let my son go that he may serve me, but if you refuse to let him go, I will slay your son, even your firstborn. That stand out for anybody? Let me look and see what we got here for firstborn in their verse. Same word, you know what I'm saying? The chief, the eldest. Well, let's look and see what this means then. Because he say, let Yasharal go, he is my firstborn. He's my son. But if you don't let him go, I will kill your firstborn. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Let's look at John 1 and 9. We'll look at John 1 and 1 first and then drop to 9. Whole Exodus chapter 4. Remember now, everything that sanctifies that comes from the womb. Say, Yasharal is my firstborn. How is this possible? We'll show you how that's possible. Right out the law. Show you how that's possible. Anybody got any idea how Yasharal would be a firstborn to be sanctified coming out the womb? Don't think spiritual, it's a natural level now for law to back up what we talking about. Anybody got an idea? It's all gravy. Let's keep on rolling. We'll see what we come up with. We see what Yahuwah give. We'll see if we come up with something on that. We're going to see if the book support it. If I do like them niggas do and give Heseps and just pull stuff out my butt crack. John 1 and 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim. The same was in the beginning with Elohim. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. Does that not sound like he a firstborn, that he be chief? That's what that sound like to me. Well, let's look at verse 9. My apologies. Yeah, verse 9 is cool. Verse 9 ain't gonna hurt nobody. That was the true light which light every man that come into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came into his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of Elohim, even to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of Elohim. And the Word was made flesh, and dwelt among us, and we beheld his esteem, or his honor, the esteem as of the only begotten of the Abba, full of favor and truth. Well, it sounds like to me that he's saying that Yahusha is a firstborn son. Now we know Yasharal means power to rule as Elohim. Well, let's sit back and let's see if the master had alluded to these people that he had power to rule as Elohim. Because we need two witnesses to back this up, right? Let's look at Matthew chapter 9 and about verse 12. We just need two. I could give you 10, but we just gonna do 2 because today's the short day. Thank y'all for the word. Hallelujah for Yahusha and the word. Matthew chapter 9, not verse 10. My apologies, everybody. Verse 2. Matthew chapter 9 and verse 2. Let's see now. You got power to rule as Elohim. Go look at Exodus 34 and you'll see what the master is about to do. That comes from Elohim. And behold, they brought to him a man sick of the palsy, lying on a bed, and Yahusha, seeing their faith, said unto the sick of the palsy, Son, be of good cheer, thy sins be forgiven thee. And behold, a certain of the scribes said within themselves, This man blasphemed. Yahusha, knowing their thoughts, wherefore think ye evil in your hearts? For whether is easier to say, Thy sins be forgiven thee, or to say, Arise and walk? But that ye may know, that the Son of Man have power on rats to forgive sins. Then saith he to the sick of the palsy, Arise, take up thy bed, and go unto thine house. And he arose and departed to his house. That man looked them people in the face. I mean, he had power. Yasharal, power to rule is Elohim. Exodus 34 say the only person that got power to rule or the power to forgive sins is Yahuwah. So he just showed you that he was Yasharal. We've already established that he's the firstborn son. Now that's that same thing that wicked nigga we were talking to tried to tell us that a man can forgive sin. See, when this man said that, the first thing that Pharisee said is, boy, you blaspheme. Or excuse me, that scribe. He said, you blaspheme. He said, you a man. You can't forgive nobody's sins. He had to let him know, I'm Yasharal. I can forgive sins. Look at Matthew chapter 8. Matthew chapter 8, because we right here by it. Verse 23. Agree the boy. And when he was entered into a ship, his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with the waves. But he was asleep. And his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Master, save us, we perish. And he saith unto them, Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? And then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. But the men marveled, saying, What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? Now you know you got to have some power and dominion. You can tell the sea to chill out and the wind to stop blowing. Let's see if Psalms 89 say who do that. Let's see if Psalms 89 tell us who can do that. Because if Psalms 89 tell us Yahuwah can do that, then we just seen that Yasharal is his firstborn son, that this is the master while he in Egypt. Psalms 89, verse 6. For who in Shamahim can be compared unto Yahuwah? Who among the sons of the mighty can be likened unto Yahuwah? Elohim is greatly to be feared in the assembly of the Kadeshim, and to be had in reverence of all them that are about him. O Yahuwah Elohim of hosts, who is strong, Yahuwah, like unto thee, or to thy faithfulness round about thee. Thou rule the raging of the sea, and when the waves thereof rise, thou still them. That sounds like that's Yahuwah. That sounds like Yahusha is his firstborn son and that he is Yasharal because he has power to rule as Elohim. Now that matter has been established. Let's go back to Exodus chapter 4. Everybody cool? Everybody all right? Exodus chapter 4. I will read verse 20 again. 21 I should say. Well, 22 I should say. So thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, Thus saith Yahuwah, Yasharal is my son, even my firstborn. I say unto thee, Let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. Well, we know full well. We know full well that didn't happen. They did not let him go. Pilate was determined to let this man go, and the people did not let him go. So now we need to look at something to show back how Yasharal is in Egypt. He's his firstborn son. And he say, let him go that he may serve me. Genesis chapter 37, and about verse 26. Everyone, because we got to show how Yasharal is sanctified to be a firstborn son. So we need to go to Genesis 37. 37 and 1 actually. Thirty-seven 3. Bereshit 37:3. Now Yasharal loved Yosef more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age. And he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. Now he turned around and we look at it. Pharaoh turned around when we began to multiply after Joseph died, and he hated us, and he couldn't speak peaceably unto us anymore. So then what did Pharaoh move to do? He moved to kill us. Now we know Yosef, or Joseph's name, means Elohim have taken away my sin. This man say, let my son go, lest I slay your firstborn son. Let's see what we see when we drop down here to about verse 26. in the same chapter of 37. And Yehuda said unto his brethren, what profit is it, if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him. For he is our brother, and our flesh. And his brethren were content. Then they passed by the Midianites' merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Yosef out of the pit, and sold Yosef to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they brought Yosef into Mizraim. And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Yosef was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes. And he returned unto his brethren and said, the child is not, whither shall I go? They took Yosef's coat and killed the kid of the goats and dipped the coat in the blood. Now he said, man, let my son go. Now you know a couple of them, Judah was like, nah, we shouldn't kill him, we should sell him, because they were ready to kill him. So you had one that was like kind of to a certain extent wanted to let him go. There was another that didn't want to let him go. Now the son is in Egypt. This is Joseph. Joseph is Yasharal's firstborn son, if you don't know this. Because he's the firstborn son of Rachel, of the wife that he loved. Leah's firstborn son was Simeon. See, hold this right here and look at 1 Chronicles 5:1 real fast.
Reuben was very one.
Yeah, it was Reuben, but he lost it though.
No,
1 Chronicles 5:1. Now the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Yasharal, for he was the firstborn, before as much as he defiled his father's bed, his birthright was given unto the sons of Yosef, the son of Yasharal, and the genealogy is not to be reckoned after the birthright. For Yehuda prevailed above his brethren, and of him came the chief ruler, but the birthright was Joseph's. The birthright belonged to Joseph. But it ended up going to Yehuda because he prevailed. That's another matter. So you actually seeing that Joseph is the firstborn, and he ends up going into Egypt. Now, for sake of time, we go look at what that is. Genesis 38. I'm sorry. Genesis 39, I should say. Joseph ends up going to jail for something that he did not do. And he ends up going into the grave or into the prison. And he ends up getting let go. And when he ends up getting let go, he gets sanctified to become a ruler and to become great. Just like Yahusha, it was ordained to be or prophesied to be to Mary in Luke chapter 1. So you see Yasharah being the firstborn son, he say, let my son go. He put it on Pharaoh's heart to let his son go out of the pit, which is an example of death letting him go. Because they didn't want to let him go. Because he said, if you don't let him go, I'm going to slay your firstborn. Well, then we're going to turn around and we're going to look at this because we dealt with this in the past, so we're not going to go into that in-depthly. The slaying of the firstborn in Mizraim is a similitude of Hamashiach being slain. Because he had to be slaved for. Look at 1 Peter 2:21. Peter 2:21. Make it 19. For this is thankworthy, if a man for conscience sakes towards Elohim endure grief, suffering wrongfully. Because Joseph definitely endured grief. He didn't do nothing wrong. For what esteem is it? What honor is it? So if you're going to be a firstborn son, you might have to suffer grief and you ain't did nothing wrong. Because Yasharah was suffering grief as a people in Mizraim. They did nothing wrong. The book don't say that they did anything wrong. He said there are Pharaoh rules up that know not Joseph. And he said they getting too big for us. They might overtake us and join with our enemies. We got to kill them. They didn't do anything wrong. For what esteem is it that when you're buffeted for your faults, you shall take it patiently? But if, when you do well and suffer for it, you take it patiently, this is acceptable with Elohim. Joseph sat in that prison for a good little minute, and he took it patiently. So a lot of people don't like to take suffering from Elohim patiently. They feel like he ought to move when they want him to move. They feel like they should get what they want to have. You just feel like you want something. You feel like y'all should give it to you. Maybe y'all separated you from that because that was not the best thing for you to have at that time. Or maybe even at all. You would think that if you were a child and he's your father, that you would believe that he would know what was better for you than you know for yourself. But just like how stubborn, see, it's just like rebellious teenagers. They feel like their parents can't tell them nothing. I know what I'm doing. I don't care what you say was best for me. I want what I want. And you seem to crash every time that you do this. On a natural level. Crash every time. For even hereunto were ye called, because Mashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that you should follow his steps. I ain't going to go into it tonight. Most I will, and I'll do it another time. You look at Joseph suffering for the people. What Joseph went through with his brother selling him into that pit, and that pit being an example of his resurrection of Mashiach, and him going to prison. And that prison, him being in prison, being a similitude of the resurrection of Mashiach when he came out. He ended up breaking down that prophecy to Pharaoh of the famine of 7 years to save the people. Joseph himself told them, he said, what you thought for me ended up being good for many. Saved many souls alive. Joseph literally suffered wrongfully and suffered for the people's sake to save many, setting the example. Because he forgave his brethren. He saved the souls of the people alive. He ruled in justice and in judgment and in righteousness. He stood on the word even in the midst of suffering wrongfully. He didn't transgress. This is why his name meant Elohim shall take away my reproach. He took away the dishonor that was upon the people by saving many souls alive, because there was a famine in the land. And they had to come see Elohim was taking away my sin for bread. They had to come to see him to get that living bread to remove that transgression.
Listen, stop. Stop.
He said, who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. Who when he was reviled not again. And when he suffered, he threatened not. You don't read Joseph threatening nobody. But committed himself to him that judges righteously. That's what Joseph did. Showing forth how he was a firstborn son. That's why he was set apart. That's why he set him apart and said, your brethren will give reverence unto you at the time appointed. Who his own self bare our sins in his own body on the tree, that we, being dead to sins, should live unto righteousness, by whose stripes ye are healed. Well, let's sit back and let's look at something. We see Joseph going in that pit, and we see Joseph going in that prison, and that's a similitude of this man being dead. The same way that man say, I will slay your firstborn in Mizraim, knowing Mizraim is a symbolic to bondage, or to sin, or to death. Knowing that we done read in John 12 and 22, or 24, I should say that except the corn of wheat fall on the ground and die, it abide alone, but if it die, it bring forth much fruit. So we have to look at that, because he says, sanctify to me all the firstborn that opened up the womb. When you turn around and you look at it, Joseph ended up producing sons, and then this nation became abundant. So let's continue on, right? And let's look at the womb aspect of it. Before we even get to the womb aspect of it, or what I'm leading to, Genesis 25 and 21. Genesis 25 and 21. Genesis 25 and 21. Hallelujah for the word. And Isaac entreated Yahuwah for his wife, because she was barren, and Yahuwah entreated him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. I want y'all to keep in mind that Rebekah's name means ensnarer. It means ensnarer. That's what it means. Or trap. Or bonds. Or bands, I should say. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahuwah. Let's look up the word struggle here, brothers and sisters. Let's look that up. Excuse me. Genesis 25. And let's look at what this word is and what it means. I know what it means, but I want y'all to take the time, if you got the ability, to look it up and look at the word for struggle. Struggled together is rasats. It means to crush, to oppress, to crush, to get crushed, be crushed, to grievously oppress. Literally or figuratively, to break or to bruise or to crush or discourage or struggle together. Literally means to bruise. Let's look at something when it say bruise. Genesis chapter 3. Three and 15. See, sometimes, my dear people, we look at a lot of stuff in the law, because with the law, you'll understand what's going on. The book tells you the law is your schoolmaster to bring you to Mashiach. So the law will bring you to the Son. Coming to the Son will give you everlasting life, because you will believe, and through that belief, you will obey. And I will put enmity or hatred. No stains. I will put enmity between. I'm sorry, let me read verse 14. And Yahuwah Elohim said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. And upon thy belly thou shalt go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity or hatred between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. And it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Job 13 and 26, Romans 16 and 18, Romans 16 and 17. Job 13 and 26, Romans 16 and 17. This man says that they struggled or they oppressed or they crushed or he was beaten or he was bruised.
Yeah.
Job 13 and 26. Give me a second, y'all. Let me get around that eventually. 13 and 26 of Job. Make it 23. 22. Job 13, 22. Then call thou, and I will answer. Or let me speak and answer thou me. How many are my iniquities and sins? Make me to know my transgression and my sin. They were trying to find out the sin of the master. They couldn't find it though. Wherefore hide thou thy face and hold me for thine enemy. So they say, Father, why have you forsaken me? He didn't hid his face from him. Now I'm your enemy. Same way that Pharaoh had became Yasharal's enemy and wouldn't let him go. Will thou break a leaf driven to and fro? Will thou pursue the dry stubble? For thou write bitter things against me and make me to possess the iniquities of my youth. He's coming to possess the iniquity of Adam. Please keep that in mind, because all this stuff going to make sense of what we started from in Exodus 13 to sanctify all the firstborn that come out the womb. They are mine. This is going to go a twofold manner. It's twofold. Follow me. Listen to what I'm saying now. Listen to the book. Listen to what the book says. Thou put my feet also in stocks, and look narrowly unto all my paths. Thou set a print upon the heels of my feet. That means they bruised his heel. Now I'm also tell y'all something, right? Jacob's name also means heel grabber. That's why we're looking at all this stuff. So just bear with me. Romans 16 and 17. Romans 16 and 17.
So bad.
See, for Satan to get bruised, he said he got to step on Satan's head, meaning he got to crush him. But in order to crush him and to beat that oppression, his heel got to get bruised. Which means that all this is dealing with, they pierce my hands and my feet. He's got to die. So I got to slay the firstborn because you won't let my firstborn go. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which you have learned, and avoid them. For they that are such serve not our master Yahushua HaMashiach, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. See, this is going right back. That's why we read verse 14. We say you go up out your belly. Because Philippians tell you their God is their belly, they mind earthly things. That's why he say you got to watch them that try to cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine that you have received or learned. He said you need to avoid them or to stay away from them. To sanctify yourselves away from them. Because if you are the firstborn, you're consecrated to Yahuwah. That means you will separate yourselves from those who go contrary to the word or to try to cause discord. Because these people do not serve the master. They serve their own lusts. That's why he say, he that loses his life shall save it, and he that saves his life shall lose it. For your obedience is to come abroad unto all men. I am glad, therefore, on your behalf. But yet I would have you wise unto that which is good, and simple concerning evil. And the Elohim of Shalom shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly. The favor of our master Yahushua HaMashiach be with you, so be it. So what we're looking at is, right, to bruise Satan means you got to overcome him or crush him. You got to bruise his heel. His heel going to be bruised when you step on his head. Now let's come over here and let's go back to Genesis 25. And get your Hosea chapter 12 behind Genesis 25. I look like this evening going to be a flashback to hitting numerous precepts. So y'all just bear with me. Genesis 25. So sit back. She asked, why are they oppressing each other? Why are they struggling? Why is he bruising him? Verse 23. Yahuwah said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. There are 2 people in your womb. 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And one of the people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob, and Yitzhak was 80 years old when she bare them. So look at Hosea 12 and 3. Say they had 2 manner of people in her womb. They got separated out of her womb. One will be stronger than the other. One will be stronger than the other. One came out red. I wonder why one came out red. Anybody got any idea spiritually why one came out red? And why would that be for the sake of with the blood if one came out red? And that in one instance, but that ain't what we're looking for on this instance though. That is true though. Blood on his hands. We'll see how Esau's blood is on his hands. Exodus chapter 12. Verse 1. Well, verse 2. I'm sorry, I said Exodus. I meant to say Hosea. Hosea chapter 12 and verse 2. My apologies. Hosea chapter 12 and verse 2. Hosea chapter 12 and verse 2. Hosea chapter 12 and verse 2. Yahuwah also have a controversy with Yehudah, and will punish Jacob according to his ways. According to his doings will he recompense him. He took his brother by the heel in the womb, and by his strength he had power with Elohim. See, because one people is stronger than the other. He took his brother by the heel. What do you think this could mean by taking his brother by the heel? What y'all think this could mean to say he took his brother by the heel? And when he took him by the heel, he had power. Considering that he said that you should step on Satan's head and Satan shall bruise your heel. Because there's a lot of things going on in this. Well, when you look at him having power with Elohim by taking his brother by the heel, what you think this could mean, y'all? Where at in Zechariah 8? What you talking about? You talking about 8:23. Say we're gonna go with you. We heard Elohim was with you, right? But let's be a little bit more narrowed down. He said he literally took him by his heel. We just read in Job 13. He said you set prints in my heel. Because we look at skirt, we talking about taking hold of his garment. We looking at specifically say he grabbed his brother by the heel. He had power with him. This is going to tie into the first thing you said, that Esau being covered with the blood covered sin. He took hold of that. So we look at Jacob coming out of the womb, grabbing onto Esau's heel and having power with Elohim because he took hold of the blood. But then on the flip side, because Jacob named means deceiver, you see that he would be bruising Esau's heel. Because they were struggling. He had to crush it, he had to oppress. You know what I'm saying? He had to do all of that. He had to do that to him. But now we also look at it in this aspect. Let's look at something of what Esau did. Because one group of people will be stronger than the other. Let's go back to Genesis 25. Let's see if Esau liked to serve his belly. Because two types of people are going to be separated from your womb now, from your bowels. Now he said, now the elder shall serve the younger. So basically, the first was going to be last, and the last was going to be first. Because Jacob came out last. He ended up being first. Esau came out first, and he ended up being last. Now follow me on that though. Huh? Mm-hmm. Genesis 25, right? About verse 29. Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I'm at the point to die. What profit shall this birthright do to me? Oh, what you got to look at Hebrews 12 and 1. That man say, what good is this birthright going to do to me, seeing I'm finna die? Hebrews 12 and 1. This is what y'all need to remember. Wherefore, seeing we also have compassed about with so a great cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. Looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the stake, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Elohim. Keep that in mind, because we done did that as well. For consider him that endures such a contradiction of sinners against himself, lest you be wearied and faint in your minds. You have not resisted unto blood, striving against sin. See, when you sit back and look at it, Esau got weary in his mind, and he was ready to faint because he wasn't willing to endure. Again, showing you how one people is stronger than the other. Because when he had a little affliction, a little trouble, he ain't had no root in himself. So by and by, he was offended by the word. He was deceived by the wayside. You understand what I'm saying? That man say, what good is this birthright? What good is this word going to do for me? Nigga, I'm finna fall out. Nigga, I'm ready to have sex. I'm ready to get high. I'm ready to go get drunk. I'm trying to make some money, man. I got to work on the Shabbat. I'm finna fall out. This birthright don't mean I don't despise the shame. I'm not going to endure the stake. That man say, take up your stake daily and follow me. He that will not forsake all that he have is not worthy of me. So if you ain't see, you got to sit back and look at what's going on here. That man was ready to fall out because he couldn't endure. So he was weak. A sinner is weak because they will not keep going. They will not keep going. They will look for a reason to serve their belly. The first chance he got to serve his belly, he jumped on it. So he's showing that he's of the serpent seed. Because the serpent was cursed to go upon his belly all the days of his life. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. He abode not in the truth, because the truth is not in him. He is a liar and the father of it. So Satan's children will always be exposed because they will serve their lusts and desires and go about serving their belly. That's why he said you better watch them that cause divisions and go contrary to the doctrine that you have received. They do not serve our master Yahushua HaMashiach, but they own belly, deceiving the hearts of the simple with good words and fair speeches. That's weakness. Weak people seek to deceive. Strong people don't lie to nobody. Strong people don't try to cause no divisions. Strong people don't do that. For what? There's two men or people in your womb. One stronger than the other. You don't think Jacob might have been hungry a time or two? He ain't fall out. He went and made him some lentils. Nigga, Esau could have made him some lentils too. He didn't want to wait for them lentils though. He didn't want to wait. I want to fulfill my lust now. Let me find somebody who will help me do that. And there was Jacob. That's the weakness of the wicked. That's the weakness of those who walk in the flesh and not in the ruach. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense though? You know what I'm saying? That's the weak. That's what that's going on right there. He was ready to faint. He wasn't finna endure that state. I ain't finna endure this suffering. 1 Peter 4:1 before we go back it over here, man. Like, come on, man. Praise y'all for the word, man. Like I told that dude last night, he asking me all this stuff, bro. We not on that. I had to tell him straight up. Y'all wasn't there to speak for yourself, so I did it for you. I say, bro, all that he talking about, y'all deal with the flat earth. No, we don't deal with no flat earth. My people don't care nothing about the flat earth. You care about the flat earth? You care about that? We don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? You know why we don't care about that? We sit back looking at, man, I got to get my soul saved. What do I need to do so my soul can be saved? What do I need to purge out my heart that the Ruach HaKodesh might dwell in that? My nigga, I don't care nothing about that. I'm seeking understanding that my soul might be delivered, that my faith might be strengthened, that I might stand on this word even harder. Just like so my house is like it's made on a brick. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't worried about all that, what you talking about, my nigga. We not on that. We ain't sitting around here talking about, you know them brothers teaching a 12 tribe chart. You know if they teaching this a sin to shave your beard and get a nigga, who cares, nigga? Nigga, that's 1997 stuff you nigga talking about. Y'all ain't on that. Y'all don't care nothing about that. I'm like, bro, we ain't on that. But we trying to sit back and look at, I'm seeing an example of man who wasn't willing to endure suffering and lean to go about his belly. So since he went to go about his belly, he gonna sit back and look at, he trying to bruise my heel because I'm a step on him. You know what I'm telling you? See, when he say he gonna bruise his heel and step on his head, that means I'm gonna crush and destroy death. So you see them struggling in the room or grievously oppressing, it's because Esau was trying to oppress Jacob with death. But Jacob overcame him at the last. Again, showing forth how he was the firstborn. Because he got the birthright. Regardless of him coming out second, he was the firstborn because the birthright went to him. That's why he was sanctified out the womb. You belong to me. You know what I'm talking about? All first, even though Jacob was not the literal firstborn, he was the firstborn because he got the birthright. So in all intents and purposes, he is the firstborn. In the eyesight of Yahuwah, right? That's the firstborn. He crushed his brother. So you look at Esau being covered in the blood, that's when the people sit back and say, let his blood be on our children's children. That's why he had to go on ahead and bruise his heel. You know what I'm saying? They covered in the blood. Because they evil and they wicked. I'm telling you, ain't nothing respectful about a sinner. Let me read it 1 Peter 4:1, then we read it John 9:39. I'm sitting here telling you like I told you before, I'm put on tape. A nigga come tell you, I know what the book say, but I sin anyway. Do not respect that. That is not to be respected. You look him in the face and tell him you are a wicked individual and you ought to burn in hell if you don't repent, because you are openly and blatantly going against Yahuwah Elohim's word to fulfill your own lust. You showing you go about your belly, you showing you curse, and you showing Satan is your daddy. That's what you mean when you tell me that. Leah, don't come here with that noise, please. 1 Peter 4:1. For as much then as Mashiach also suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. He that suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin. See, Esau's sin was he didn't believe. He said, what profit is this birthright going to do for me? What gain am I going to get from resisting sin? I'm not going to do it. That he should no longer live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Elohim. Not John 9:39. Look here, that's what Esau didn't want to do. What good is that birthright going to do to me? You're going to get eternal life, dummy. I don't want to endure. Let me get them beans. John 9:39. And Yahushua said, for judgment I am coming to this world, that they which see might not see, and they which see might be made blind. And some of the Pharisees which were with him heard these words, and said unto them, are we blind? Yahushua said unto them, if you were blind, you should have no sin. But now you say we see, therefore your sin remain. I mean, you know what you're doing. So when you tell me, I know what the book say, but I do what I want to do. I pick and choose what I'm going to do. Then you saying, I know what I do, your sin's still on you. You going to hell. How can I respect that? How can you respect that? You can't respect that. You just told me I am Deuteronomy 7:9. This is what you just told me. And this is what Yahuwah going to say he going to do. Because Yahuwah don't respect that. So I don't know why I should. That man say repent. Don't tell me you're wicked and you're going to keep being wicked. Deuteronomy 7:9. Know therefore that Yahuwah the Elohim, he is Elohim, the faithful Elohim, which keep covenant and mercy with them that love him, and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, and repay them that hate him to their face. When you do that, you telling this man you hate it. Because that means you say we see. That means you looking at man in his face and saying, screw you, nigga. You ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna do nothing. And repay them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hate him. He will repay him to his face. Now, we're going to look at how he going to repay you to your face. Because there's two manner of people in his womb. One is stronger than the other. Romans 8:5. I thank God for the word. Man, this nigga here. Romans 8:5. The word is good and the word is right. Romans 8:4. Ain't nothing like it on this planet. I thank y'all for it. Where would we be without the word of Elohim? Surely we would be as dead men. That the righteousness of the Torah might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh but after the Ruach. See, the righteousness of the Torah was not fulfilled in Esau because he walked after his flesh. See, Jacob walked after the Ruach because he sought the birthright, because he seen the greatness in what Yahuwah had to offer. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh. You see that? That's what Esau minded. But they that are after the Ruach, the things of the Ruach. It seemed like Jacob was sitting around thinking about that birthright, wasn't it? For him to add about it. Send me your birthright. That means he was thinking on the things that were eternal, not the things of this life, now was it? For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against Elohim, for it is not subject to the law of Elohim, neither indeed can be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please Elohim. Let's look at Hebrews 12:15. Let's see what happened with Esau. You don't think y'all we done caught up to? We got ain't no more videos in the clip. Well, I'll ask Glover or D on Shabbat. I got a sermon I'll tell y'all when I get done. That's old. That's just gonna be audio that we need to try to upload and put on YouTube. I don't know how to do it, you know what I'm saying? So I'll get with y'all on that. Or I send it to Kira and let Kira do it. I know she might know how to do it. I know one of y'all know how to. Somebody know how to do it. Hebrews 12:15. And then we got another file that somebody, if they know how to convert, can convert that. That would be great. Looking diligently lest any man fall of the favor of Elohim, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled, lest there be any fornicator or profane person or common person or fleshly person. That's why he say that which is flesh, and that which is ruach is ruach. The ruach is greater than the flesh. Two manner of people are in your womb. One is stronger than the other. Those that are the ruach will overcome the world. They will overcome sin. They will overcome the flesh. They will overcome Hashatan. They will overcome the beast by the blood of the Lamb and the word of the testimony, and they will not love their life even unto death. Here is the patience of the Kadeshim. Here are they who have the faith in Yahushua and the commandments of Elohim. Because one group of people, Yahuwah's people, are stronger than sinners. Sinners are weak and not to be respected. Anybody who knows this word and openly go against it is weak and is not to be respected. Period. The book says I can do all things through Mashiach who strengthened me. What is strengthening you? The word. Where the word of the king is, there is power. The kingdom of Shamahim is not in meat and drink, but in power and the Ruach HaKodesh. He said, the flesh profiteth nothing, no gain. It is the Ruach that quickeneth. The word that I speak unto you is Ruach, and it is life. This is how the Kadeshim are stronger than the wicked. When you say you see and your sin remain and you know you sinning, you are wicked, you are weak, you are detestable and abominable in the eyesight of Yahuwah. There is no strength in you. No, don't get me wrong now. When we talk about being made weak, we talk about being weak like how Esau was made weak through affliction and tribulation. And through that weakness, the strength of Elohim rests on you if you are willing to endure. If you trust in Yahuwah Elohim with your whole heart and your whole mind and your whole soul. If you do not, you will do just like Esau did. You will seek to fulfill the lust of your flesh, and you will perish. And you will be rejected. And you will cry, and your voice will not be heard. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know that how afterwards, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. That's Genesis 27. When he seemed to come back and get the blessing, he said, man, I don't even know who you is, bro. Who are you? Depart from me, you work of iniquity. I never knew you. Because one manner of people will be stronger than the other. There are two manner of people in your womb. Sanctify the firstborn out of their womb. They are mine. Jacob belonged to Yahuwah. Esau did not. Esau did not because he was of the flesh. He was of Hashatan. He was of the world. Therefore he perished. Now let's go in this, get a little deeper. Let's get a little deeper. And sit back and let's look at this here. Sanctifying the firstborn of the womb, because I got to wrap this up. Genesis chapter 2 verse 7. Luke chapter 3 about verse 35. Daniel chapter 12 verse 1. John chapter 5 verse 24. And we're rocking like that. Genesis 2 and 7. I'm just putting those on reserve because we're going to work something out of Genesis 2 and 7 and then go to the next one. You know what I'm saying? And then the next one. Genesis 2 and 7. It's 8:38. I got to wrap it. Yahuwah Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living Nephash. Do y'all see what happened right this here? Because he came up out of the arats. The earth can be considered the womb. Because it said Jerusalem is the mother of us all in Ephesians chapter 4. Isaiah 51 tell you how the Garden of Eden, well, Jerusalem shall be made like unto the Garden of Eden. So when you see Adam being pulled from the dust of the ground, you see the firstborn being sanctified from the womb, belonging to Yahuwah, because he gave him dominion over all things, making him Yasharon. Luke 3 and 35. Girl, you don't leave me alone. Which was the son of Sirach, which was the son of Ragu, which was the son of Phalach, which was the son of Heber, which was the son of Salah, which was the son of Canaan, which was the son of Oxphad, which was the son of Shem, which was the son of Noah, which was the son of Lamech, which was the son of Methuselah, which was the son of Enoch, which was the son of Jared, which was the son of Malil, which was the son of Canaan, which was the son of Enos, which was the son of Seth, which was the son of Adam, which was the son of Elohim. So when we look at this, Adam belongs to Elohim because he was sanctified from the womb. He was the firstborn. You belong to me. 1 Corinthians 15 and 45. 44. Make it 42. Then we'll go to Daniel. Then we'll go to Daniel 12 and 1. So also is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption. It is raised in incorruption. You see, that first son of Elohim, or his firstborn, was sown in corruption. But there's two manner of people in your womb. One will be stronger than the other. It is sown in dishonor. It is raised in esteem. It is sown in weakness. It is raised in power. It is sown in natural body. It is raised in spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. And so it is written, the first Adam was made a living Nephash. And the second Adam was made a quickening ruach. Howbeit that was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural, and after that, that which is spiritual. The first man of the Arats is earthly. The second man is the master from Shamahim. As is the earthly, such are they that are earthly. And as the Shamahim, such are they that are Shamahim. We have borne the image of the earthly, we shall also bear the image of Shamahim. Because he said, let us make man in our image. So when you look at Esau and Jacob, Jacob was to bear that which was of Shamahim, and Esau was to bear that which was of the earth, because he goes about his belly, and the dust of the ground you shall eat for the rest of your life, because your name is written in the earth and not in Shamahim. You will burn in hell. What strength is there in the flesh? What strength is there in the flesh? We are not of them that esteem in the flesh, but in the Ruach. Romans 2:28. That's why if somebody look you in your face and say they pick and choose what they do out the word, but you know, I'm letting you know my sin, you know. I know what the book say, but I like to do this and do that. Man, get your wicked butt out my face, nigga. I don't respect that. How could you hear a word that is so beautiful, so merciful, so powerful, with the ability to redeem a man from death and to purge you from all iniquity, and walk contrary to it knowingly? And express that as if I'm just supposed to be cool with that. I take that as disrespect. Because you disrespected my father. You disrespected my king. You disrespected my whole household. Like you used to say on cell therapy. That's disrespect, like coming in my house and not wiping your feet on the rug. That's what you just did. You think I'm going to let you come in my house and muddy it up? Pee on my carpet. Bring your mud track shoes and set them on my coffee table. Spit on my floor. That's what we do to Yahuwah when you come to that man with that type of crap, man. Real talk. 2:28. For he is not a Yahudim which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh. But he is a Yahudim which is one inwardly, and that circumcision is that of the heart, in the Ruach, and not in the letter, who praises not of men, but of Elohim. That's what you need to be seeking, in the praise of Elohim. Those that seek the flesh, see, that's what they looking for. Somebody tell you, you know, you all right, brother, but you still a good dude. You still a good sister. You wicked. What you mean? Your praises are not in Elohim, nor is it in the Ruach. You not Yehuda. Ain't no praise in you. Because if it was, you would be in the Ruach and you would be serving this man. And you would not be seeking to show off before men. How can you believe that seek honor one from another, not the honor that come from Elohim only? That's why the man say, I know you. The love of Elohim ain't in you. That's why he knew Esau. The love of Elohim ain't in you. You don't love me. I already know that you don't love me. And when the situation come up where you're going to have to endure to receive what I have to offer, you will reject it because you do not love me. See, you can see the example of it when Jacob wrestled that angel. He endured that all night, didn't he? That's showing you that if you overcome death, you overcome the adversary, and you resist him, and you struggle with him, you will destroy him in his time. You know what I'm saying? Resist him steadfast in the faith, knowing the same thing is being worked in your brethren in the world. But these niggas don't believe the book, though. Romans 12:1. I said 12:1, I meant Daniel 12:1. My apologies. Daniel 12:1 and then John 5:24. Remember he say sanctify all those that are firstborn, they're mine. So this is what we're looking at. I'm away. Because we already read that you not be born of the will of blood, the flesh, you know what I'm saying? But of Elohim, right? We gonna show that now. Y'all bear with me, right? I'm finna wrap them on up. Two people stronger than the other. Say two people in your womb, one stronger than the other. One got a little bit more might. We had university this week too. One got a little bit more might. Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Mikael stand up, the great prince, which stand for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such war as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And you know the book is the book of the Lamb. And you know what that book really is? Y'all know what that book could really be called? The book of the firstborn. Because you know why? Because you got to do like what Jacob did, right? You got to put on the firstborn to get the blessing, don't you? You know who received the inheritance according to Deuteronomy 21, if I'm not mistaken? The firstborn son, right? They get it. Put ye on Yahushua HaMashiach and make no provisions for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. You got to put on the son then, don't you? So the book of the Lamb or the book of the living is really for the firstborn sons. He say they spoke one to another, and a book of remembrance was written before Yahuwah on all those that thought upon his name. He said, they shall be mine, he said, when I make up of my jewels, as a son that honoreth his father. You know what I'm talking about? Firstborn son get the blessing, right? You got to become so all the firstborn are mine. You put on Mashiach, you are a firstborn son. All you don't sit back and realize something. When Jacob put Esau on to get the blessing of the firstborn, he became Isaac's then, didn't he? Why? Because he said Isaac loved Esau. Just like Jacob loved Joseph. He loved the firstborn. They are mine. Jacob loved Joseph over all his sons because he was the firstborn of Rachel, the wife whom he loved. Yasharal is the people whom Yahuwah loved. You understand what I'm telling you? You turn around, you look at it, right? What did I just mention? Esau was the one that the father loved, Isaac loved. So Jacob had to put that on because this is whom I love, this is whom I acknowledge. Put on the firstborn, you become the firstborn, you belong to Abba. Simple as that. So if you're not the firstborn, then guess what happens? He don't love you then. Depart from me, you work of iniquity, I never knew you. I will repay them that hate me to their face. I will not be slack to those that hate me. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Well, John 5:24. 2 manner of people are in your womb. One shall be stronger than the other. Separation. And he said, I'm going to show you how you're going to repay them to their face too.
That's mine.
John 5:24. Truly, truly, I say unto you, he that hear my word and believe on him that sent me have everlasting life and shall not come into condemnation, but is passed from death unto life. Truly, truly, live. No. Truly, truly, I say unto you, the hour is coming, and now is, when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of Elohim, and they that hear shall live. For as Abba have life in himself, so have he given to the Ben to have life in himself, and have given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man. Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming in the which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice. And some shall come forth that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. 2 manner of people are in the womb and were separated out of the womb. And one was stronger than the other.
Leah, get in here.
And one is stronger than the other. One is stronger than the other. You think a sinner stronger than the righteous? Who is he that overcome the world but he that believed Yahushua is the Son of Elohim? This is the victory, even our faith. The master believed this. This is why he was overcome. This take you back to Gad. A troop shall overcome it, but he shall overcome at the last. The sinners took him down, but at the end he overcame them because these sinners were weak. They did not have Elohim. A sinner does not have any power because he does not have Elohim. Now we talking about willful sinners now. Not just people who out here in the world sinning. I'm talking about willful sinners. I'm talking about people who have heard the word and knowingly and willfully walk contrary to it. What power is in you? What righteousness is in you? What goodness is in you? None. None. See, also when you're looking at him breathing into Adam, made him a living soul, that was also a similitude of the resurrection of the dead. 2 manner of people are in your womb. See, this is going and showing you how the firstborn are sanctified. Hebrews 12:23. They belong to Yahuwah. And look what he says in this here. Because if you go back and look, he said, Yasharal is my son, even my firstborn. When they came up out of Mizraim, they came out as a body. Coming out of Egypt, going through the waters, becoming the firstborn. The firstborn of the dead. Them coming through as a body, coming through that water, coming out of that grave, it was also a similitude of Mashiach resurrecting from the dead. We'll look at Colossians 1:18 behind this. Man, this woman here wild. 12:23. Nigga better wait. I bring 12 and 23. Listen to what he says. To the general assembly and the body of the firstborn, which are written in Shamahim, and to Elohim the judge of all, and to the Ruachs of just men made perfect, and to Yahushua the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speak better things than that of Abel. See that ye refuse not him that speak, for if they escape not who refuse him that spake on the rats, much more shall we not escape if we turn away from him that speak from Shamahim, whose voice then shook the Arats, but now he hath promised, saying, yet once more I shake not the Arats only, but also Shamahim. So when we see the general assembly of the firstborn, what you're seeing is them coming up out of Mizraim. They were the general assembly or the body of the firstborn. Because congregation and assembly is just a similitude of the body. Of the body. This is the body of Mashiach. They were all considered to be firstborn sons coming up out of. This is why he said, Yasharal is my firstborn. This is my son, even my firstborn. They were considered to be joined to the body. He didn't separate the flesh from the members. Pharaoh was trying to separate the flesh from the members. He was not able to do that. So they became the firstborn. When they came out the womb. Coming out the womb for them was leading up out of Mizraim with the birth pains, and then coming through that Red Sea, and they were birthed as a nation, or birthed as the firstborn son, or birthed as Yahushua as the first one to resurrect from the dead. Colossians 1 and 18. This is how the righteous are stronger than the wicked. Colossians 1 and 18. Oh, switch it. Switch it. 1 and 15 is better. Who is the image of the invisible Elohim, the firstborn of every creature. For by him were all things created that are in Shamahim, that are in Arats, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones, or dominions, or principalities, or powers, or all things were created by him and for him. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist. He is the head of the body, the synagogue, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have preeminence. For it pleased Abba that in him should all fullness dwell. So again we see how he's the firstborn, right? So you see how he said all that sanctified are the firstborn, they belong to me, right? They're mine. That's mine. Everything that come out the womb. Revelation 20 and 4. Matter of fact, yeah, we'll do 20 and 4 first. Then I'll show you how you're going to repay the wicked to their face. And we'll wrap this on up. 20 and 4. Revelation. Okay, we're going Revelation 20 and 4. Well, once we got to look at him paying to their faces in Revelation 20. And then we read Revelation 21 and 7 and Revelation chapter 3 verse 20. And that's it. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the nepashes of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua, and for the word of Elohim, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Mashiach 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Baruch and Kadesh is he that have part in the first resurrection. On such the second death have no power, but they shall be priests of Elohim of Mashiach and of Mashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Do y'all notice that that first resurrection is the firstborn, and they belong to Yahuwah? You remember 1 Thessalonians 4 and 13 say he shall come back with a shout, and the dead and Mashiach shall rise first. Those are the firstborn from the womb. He sanctified them from the womb. He honored them because he said if you live your life up, you'll gain your life. And wherever the Son is, you would be esteemed or honored with him because you would be Kadesh. You would be set apart. You would be consecrated. You would be hallowed. And therefore you would belong to him. Verse 12, same chapter. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before Elohim, and the books were open. And another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, And they were judged every man according to their works. Death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Because since you're not a firstborn son, you don't belong to him, they don't. And guess what happened? You know that take it back to showing you how you going to hell? Because he say, put Ishmael out that house. Put that bondwoman out my house. Because those that are the flesh are weak. Get him up out of here. This is not a firstborn son. His name is not written in Shemahim. He does not belong to me. Abraham was the exalted father. Isaac was his firstborn son, his only son. That's who belonged to him. He inherited all things. Well, the master said all things that were his, he would give unto his sons. Just like he tell you in Ezekiel 46 and 15. Let me make sure that's the right verse. It might be 16. Let me make sure. You can write that down for your own reading. That's Ezekiel 46 and 16. If the prince give a gift to any of his sons, the inheritance shall be his sons. Revelation 21 and 7. He that overcomes shall inherit all things. I will be his Elohim, and he shall be my son. And if you're his son, you're going to be his firstborn, right? Which means you belong to him because he has set you apart. Revelation 3 and 20. We start right there. Revelation 3 and 20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come to him, into him, and I will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcome will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcome, and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Ruach saith unto the synagogues. Hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. Y'all understood all that this evening?